Welcome to Still Untitled, the Adam Savage Project. I'm Will.
I am Adam Savage.
And I am Norm.
I'm Will Smith.
I don't know why I've been using both of my names throughout the last few podcasts.
Do you have your middle name is Lee?
Whitney.
Whitney.
My father's middle name was Lee. His first name was Whitney. Whitney Lee Savage. Everyone called him Lee. My middle name is his first name.
Middle name, people who go by their middle names, it's not an easy path.
You know what? I don't actually know that I ever heard from him the reason he went by Lee instead of Whitney, except that it's shorter and easier to say. But everyone knew him as Lee Savage.
So in my part of the country, Whitney is typically a female name.
Yes.
So, but I know that's a geographic thing sometimes, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Isn't that pretty?
It's gorgeous.
This is, for people who are listening, I'm holding a cast of a Stormtrooper helmet. Looks like a Stormtrooper from The Force Awakens. And Adam, you said you got this from the RPF?
I did. It was a kit run on the RPF. It's sculpted by a member. So this is not from the movie or any...
Yeah, I think this looks like it's something that someone watched the trailers and then sculpted and wanted to get it ahead of time before. As we talked about in previous podcasts, Star Wars Celebration, when the official license replicas came out. And it's great to get it tangible in person. What's cool is at Celebration, we talked about Novos releasing announcing their officially licensed Stormtrooper armor. They are also doing a helmet run for the original trilogy helmets, $100.
Really?
For a kit.
Oh my gosh.
And all the parts, you've got to put together $100.
That's
amazing. Is incredible.
We should do that for a week of build.
We should get 3 of them.
Yeah. So that's a cool thing to check out right now.
Totally.
Norm and I, we're recording this in the past, but last weekend, Norm and I spent 2 or 3 days on location at the new incarnation of Battlebots.
And I am incredibly jealous. You were with many of my friends. I have been part of Battlebots since pre-Battlebots, since it was Robot Wars in, I think, 1994, run by Mark Thorpe back in the Fort Mason Building B.
Yeah,
Wow.
So Fawn, we saw Fawn Davis, who we've had on the site before. He was one of the judges at this incarnation of Battlebots who decided what happens when the robots don't actually kill each other and it's just a tie.
And Fawn is one of my oldest friends. He is one of the best builders there is. He and I worked at Industrial Light and Magic. We've built robots together. We were at Battlebots together when I was in Grant's pit crew for the first Battlebots at Long Beach. And Fawn had a wonderful robot called Mouser Mecha Catbot. Meow, meow. Which had its own theme song and an animated video.
Of course.
And Fawn, I couldn't imagine anyone better to be a judge of Battlebots than Fawn. He knows deeply how those bots are built. He knows how much blood, sweat, and tears goes into them, how you can be your own worst enemy in building a bot.
Having participated in Battlebots, I know we talked to Jamie about Blendo before. Full disclosure, the company that we also produced and tested is putting on this incarnation of Battlebots. It'll be on ABC. It's premiering very soon,
or maybe last week. We don't know exactly when this is going to go up.
It is, but it's in the people who ran the organization are directly involved.
Yeah.
So we got to see how this new production took place, the building of the new arena, the new BattleBots. But like you said, it's a lot of the people who competed before. What was BattleBots like back then?
So originally it was called Robot Wars, and it ran for, I think, 3 years. Back in 93, 94, 95.
And it continued being called Robot Wars in the UK. So the UK, there's a TV show in the UK called Robot Wars
which was different than the original Robot Wars we participated in, which was not broadcast. It was effectively pre-internet.
Like mid-90s?
Early and mid-90s. Yeah. So it was when I was working at Colossal Pictures, when Jamie, who was younger then than I am now, was running the Colossal Pictures model shop. A lot younger than I am now. And we built Blendo together.
Fawn said in the early days it was a lot of like special effects and robot people.
Absolutely.
Like people from the community up here, and it was just a bunch of people who got together and they wanted to do something that was fun, so they built some robots and then destroyed them with each other.
And it was before there was any science to it of like figuring out how you would deal with opponents. People strapped electric drills, they strapped chainsaws. It was, I was there when it was realized how powerful a simple, powerful wedge could be. Jamie's design of Blendo was the very first robot to use rotational energy as a weapon, and it was astonishingly powerful. And a lot of people know this story, but we entered Blendo into the original Robot Wars twice, and each time, even though he passed all the safety checks, after his first battle in each of the 2 Robot Wars Blendo participated in, he threw pieces of his opponents up and over the 10-foot barriers and into the audience, and thus was judged too dangerous to compete and awarded a first prize in lieu of competition commensurate with the other first prize to be given 2 years in a row. We were legendary.
So
it was very, so early in those days, there was I'll tell you the thing that's been consistent all along, and I'll bet you saw this too, a tremendous amount of camaraderie among the competitors.
Yeah.
Lending parts, lending pieces, lending expertise, even though you would be dueling to the death of your robot in the arena. These people are all coming from the same place of loving the making of machines, the problem solving and the mechanics. And that existed at the very, very beginning.
Well, the thing we heard over and over again, and I literally, the first thing we saw on Tuesday, we were there a couple of days before the fighting started, just kind of talking to the builders as they were, unpacking their bots from boxes and shipping crates and putting everything back together, seeing what was broken, putting them out in the test and safety chambers, trying out their different weapons. And we saw people from 3 different teams working on one team's robots, and they were all there helping, giving suggestions, and not like sabotagey suggestions. They were saying, okay, this is good, but if you do this, it's going to be a little sturdier or whatever. Let me help you fix the chain that's broken or whatever it happened to be. And it was because they all wanted to have the best possible fight when they get into the arena. They want everybody at 100%.
And they all want to fight each other at 100%. No one wants to win because your opponent has a wire that got knocked out.
Right.
And let me give you an idea. Lest you think through BattleBots and you think, well, that can't be that difficult. It's just a couple of motors and a battery and you bang into each other. If you want to build a robot that can withstand the BattleBots arena, any given one that you want to choose from all through the past, build a robot, and then while it's running, try running over it with a car and hitting it repeatedly with a sledgehammer and see if it keeps running. And that's the type of abuse you are going to receive.
Bare minimum.
Drop a lawnmower on it.
Right.
Drop a running lawnmower.
Yeah. No, it is, the amount of abuse is astonishing.
Don't actually.
Yeah, no, that's bad to do.
The other thing is that there's a lot that can go wrong. You've got tons of wires that go to the motors, that go between the batteries, that go to your weaponry, and all of those things can get jostled out. And frequently people are eliminated by their own mistakes. I've seen it happen to friends of mine many times, and it can be awful.
It's really interesting that you said that you saw the development of the strategies throughout the first couple of years of Wars when people developed things like the flipper, the wedge robots, and then also the spinners. And what was really cool to see in this incarnation of BattleBots is a lot of builders, they didn't go back exactly to those same techniques. They wanted to, as engineers, experiment with a new type of grabber robot, a new type of flipper robot. They had more technologies available to them, different power systems. They could develop and iterate in CAD, their designs much quicker. These are built in a very short time frame. So it was really cool. It's a literal test not only of their robot against another robot, but of just their design principles.
The thing you said is super key, though. Like in the 12 years since BattleBots was on TV last, we've seen lots of smaller scale competitions. Nothing quite on this level. And both the capacity and power of LiPo batteries that these guys are all using now
vastly outstrips anything that was around in my day.
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys, the amount of extra armor and weapon space they can devote to armor and weapons is so much bigger now. People were doing multiple redundant motor systems,
wow,
so that they would have, if they had 6 wheels instead of having 4 of them running on a belt and 2 extras. All 6 have their own motors, because with the LiPo there's plenty of space. The other thing is the motors have gotten both more powerful and a lot cheaper in the last 12 years. So we were seeing all sorts of incredible amounts of force being applied to destroying other robots.
Did you see some epic destructions?
Oh yeah. Oh, we can't spoil exactly what's going on in the fights, but it was not disappointing.
Really? Now, the arena, one of the things that we were upset about is after the first year we were eliminated as being too dangerous to compete, which, by the way, was awesome. Like that's if you're going to be eliminated, that's
fist bump,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So the second year we called them up long before and we said you should have a roof on your arena, and they didn't. And again, the piece went up and over, and again the exact same thing happened. So I was very happy when Trey Roski and his team put on Battlebots that their Battle Dome had a roof, and that roof existed because of Blendo. Let me just make that really, really clear.
So the new battle box, the thing that they built for this one was a steel cage, I think 40 or 60 feet on a side. I can't remember how dimensionally how big it was. 1.25 inch Lexan.
1.25 inch?
1.25 inch.
Oh, that'll stop just about anything.
I mean, that was their thought. It's only 1.25 inch for 8 or 10 feet or something, and then it's thinner as you get higher because most of the impacts
It's going to be glancing angles at that point.
Yeah. You know about that.
Yes.
So then they also had a bunch of hazards in. This was less about the hazards.
And that was a place where BattleBots, I thought, sort of lost the plot a little bit, was that the hazards became so difficult to surmount that they became the opponent. And I don't think that the arena should be the primary opponent.
I mean, the arena, in my eyes, the arena should exist to keep everybody honest and keep it fun.
To level the playing field.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we saw a bunch of novel designs of robots. A lot of people came in and tried crazy new stuff. It wasn't exactly reactive armor because they didn't want explosives in the arena, but a lot of people built robots that used very, very light armor that was very spread out to kind of keep stuff away while it was chewing through that so they could have a chance to do damage.
Nice.
Like tons and tons of neat approaches.
Multiple configurations, different weapons that you could swap out, drive system, defensive systems.
So you could choose a weapon based on the opponent.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
So back in the day, even in the original Robot Wars, and again on through BattleBots, there were people that were there to win with some very utilitarian designs, and then there were people who were looking to elevate the whole idea of robotic combat. And I think the leading progenitor of that was my friend Mark Satrakian, who is an incredible designer, an incredible mechanical engineer, has designed the mechanics for many of your favorite movie special effects, designed a robot called the Master, designed a robot that was a snake in the first Robot Wars, which was unbelievable. No one was remotely thinking it was like Tremors with 3 jaws.
Nice.
Oh, God. He did this 6-legged spider in 3 sections where the sections could spin 360 degrees completely independently of each other. So it could not only walk, but it could roll sideways.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. No, Mark is amazing. And Mark had a presence.
Yes. He designed the trophy stand for the giant nut trophy.
The nut trophy, which is designed by my friend Craig Hasoda, who designed the original trophies for...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
So Mark actually it's called Access, and we did a video with him. It'll be on the site in a few weeks, where it's just the trophy stand itself, the mechanics are these 5 fingers that constantly spin.
Yeah.
And I can't even do it with my hand.
It's
how
like,
graceful the motion is.
Like
one finger at a time.
Yeah.
Spinning and holding up. It's itself a robot hand.
I will give you an idea. If you've seen Hellboy, you've seen Hellboy battle Samael. Samael, in I think 95% of the shots in Hellboy, is not CG. Samael is a practical costume and model, and all of those tentacles that entire thing was built by Mark and his team at Spectral Motion under the direction of Mike Elzaldi, and those guys, we've covered them on the Tested. They built the Hellboy mecha hand, the original for Hellboy, and Mark is I seriously think Mark might be an alien or someone from the future sent to teach us about the humanity of robots.
The thing that amazes me about his work is how organic. We've all put stuff together with servos, and when I put something together with a servo, it looks like a servo. Chunk, 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 chunk,
exactly.
right? When his stuff all has like incredibly organic flowing movement. It's absolutely gorgeous to watch. I could have stood, I actually did, literally stand next to him and watch the trophy stand for 10 or 15 minutes just because it's so pretty.
And he's also incredibly approachable and loves talking about how he came to the design, how he uses all sorts of new technologies. Mark has been custom programming RC controllers for decades. And so all of these new advances of Arduino, he has embraced those, 3D printing and all of that stuff, just to an incredibly high art form.
It was so cool. It was great to get to talk to him. Norm did a great interview with him. So you guys should check that out when it's on the
site soon. But yeah, the show is It's on TV.
I'm really glad that it's getting network exposure, and the framework that was explained to me about how they're doing the contest is just exactly right. As far as I'm concerned.
And they had a ton of smart people doing the on-camera stuff for the network. Bobek from JPL, who everybody knows is the Mohawk guy from the Curiosity rover. He was one of the sideline commentators. He was asking questions about robots to the people who make robots. It was really good. I can't wait to see it on TV. It premieres on June 21st on ABC. Which is Father's Day, coincidentally. We have a ton of video from there, so you'll see it all on the site.
That is, I cannot wait. I wanted to make it up there. I couldn't. I was recovering from surgery from my jaw, my wisdom teeth. We talked about that a couple podcasts ago. But rest assured, if this show gets picked up, I will be there at the arena to see this thing in person.
Not going to build a robot.
No.
Okay.
No. My days of robot combat are past.
Oh, you went out on top. Huh?
I did.
Larry birded that.
Why would I have any? James Randi tells a story about some gentleman playing darts one day, and he walked past them and said, "Hey, Randy, why don't you throw a dart?" He said, "I don't play darts." And they handed him a dart, and he threw a bullseye. And he said, "I will never throw another dart for the rest of my life, because why would I?" That's the way I feel about robot combat. Emeritus is how I'd like to be thought of.
the grandfather of the sport? Okay. Or maybe Jamie's the grandfather of the sport.
I think so, yeah.
One final thing?
Yeah.
DJI was there. They were flying an Inspire 1 inside the arena during the fight.
Yeah.
Insane.
Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just take off and have he got real ballsy by the end of the weekend. Yeah. Like by the end of the fights, at first he was just going up in the corner and parking there.
As I was.
By the end of the last day, he was zooming in, getting right over top of them as they were smashing.
There's nothing else that would get you that kind of.
A little bit of me wanted to see it come back.
There were
just a little bit.
There were a couple of moments.
How long will it be before there's flying robot wars?
Oh, I want to see races first. Then I want to see the demolition derby.
Because here's the thing. It's easy to use your own copter to take someone else's copter out of the air.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, to take another copter out of the air, all you need is a 6-foot length of ribbon.
Yeah, that's the problem. To kill any of these robots, all you need is a good net, right?
Yes, exactly.
I want to talk about something we've had on the list for a long time, and it was tough to see because it was in that gap between theaters and it was on airplane pay-per-view and hotel pay-per-view.
Oh, right. This was just the front part of
this. We're only halfway in. You guys are getting a double episode this week.
All right.
I watched Kingsman finally.
Yes.
And you guys had strongly different reactions to it, which is kind of unusual.
Loved it. Norm hated it.
I thought there were some elements that were really good, but overall, I did not like it.
Let's be really clear. We are not going to make this a spoiler cast until the end of this, and then we'll make a very brief spoiler cast. So if you haven't seen the movie and you want to, we are going to talk about some general aspects of the genre approach and really work hard not to spoil anything, we're going to hold those spoilers until the end of this discussion and then talk about some specific plot points. But I think as an overarching thing, it is a genre piece, and it is very specifically, and it states it outright in the movie a couple times, they miss the campy James Bond days of Roger Moore, of Roger Moore specifically.
But at the same time,
absurdity.
Yes.
At the same time, they said. There's literally a segment in the movie where one of the protagonists says, "This is the part where you catch me and I get caught and you explain how your plan's going to go down, and then you put me in an unnecessarily complex." It's literally an Austin Powers joke,
right?
Modernized for today.
That's not a spoiler alert. That's just not it's not a very good joke, and it
wasn't a very good joke, and it happens, and it goes on way too long.
Yeah.
But then it is that kind of movie.
It is. That is exactly
that's my problem with it. My problem is that I wanted a smart, self-aware take on the gentleman spy movie, the James Bond, without taking itself too seriously, and it ended up being an Austin Powers movie.
Which I appreciate and I don't disagree with, but I felt that its self-awareness and its meta approach to the campy James Bond was just the right amount of flavor. Now the difference, probably, Norm, is that the movies they're talking about, James Bond has definitely always had camp to it. Sean Connery less so, Roger Moore more, Pierce Brosnan way too much. But
eventually, yes.
Yes, but that Roger Moore zone, that's where I grew up. The Spy Who Loved Me is the first one I ever saw, followed by Moonraker, both with the same henchman villain Jaws. So those are deeply in my DNA, and I think that's exactly. I'm probably pretty close to the age of the filmmakers. And I think that may be one of the reasons that it missed the mark for you because of, I think, just growing up with a certain type of thing that you want.
So, I mean, to not spoil the plot, but there's Colin Firth, there's an elder generation of gentleman spy, an organization, and then you recruit a younger. So it's an origin story for the younger spy. I love all the spies.
Actually.
Yeah. I love all the old guys. I love them. I love everything with the Michael Caine.
I thought the main kid was pretty good.
And it was okay.
He felt like Poochie the talking dog to me a little bit.
And that was my
grew
big,
on me.
I wanted to see
definitely.
just the Colin Firth movie.
Yeah, and Colin Firth, by the way,
it's really good.
Wonderful in this movie, and they give him some great stuff to do. And that other British guy who's in
Michael Caine?
No.
He plays the.
He's in Match Point.
Strong. Mark Strong.
Mark Strong. He's a wonderful actor. He is a little like a William Fichtner or Aaron Eckhart. A supporting player who you've seen in many movies who never doesn't steal the scenes he's in.
Guy Ritchie staple.
Yeah. He's a wonderful actor. And the casting is great. And the action scenes are done in a sort of, I would describe them as a almost more sophisticated Guy Ritchie type of way in which action is sped up and slowed down, so you see things like people staring at things flying through the air mid-fight. Very competently done.
So the action was choreographed wonderfully in ways that were not derivative of Matrix-style bullet time, slow-mo. Elaborate choreography.
And you don't ever lose, again, like we've talked about, you never lose
the thread
where you are.
Yeah.
They're how do you talk about it? Your situational awareness as a viewer is never abandoned within the fight.
Right. And I feel like that's something that usually happens in service of making fights longer than they should be, or like anytime I lose track of where I am in a fight in a movie, and we keep picking on Michael Bay for this because it's the thing that he does in later films a lot. I just never know. I feel like that's just to stretch out that scene.
Yeah.
And that's how you lose that thread. Or maybe it's just tons of jump cuts and I'm an old guy and I can't keep up with it anymore.
So I think this is an interesting point to discuss because the internet is full of people arguing with each other vitriolically and getting very upset.
That's what Kevin Smith said.
And I had dinner with some of my closest friends last night, and they watched John Wick, and they could not believe how much they hated it. They needed more time to describe the degree to which they despised sitting through John Wick.
Our friend Jeremy had the same reaction.
Right.
Yeah.
And your reaction to Kingsman, I don't ever begrudge anyone not loving something that I loved. I think these very specific genre pieces, which John Wick and Kingsman are,
or the other way around, to be fair, loving something that I didn't love.
Yes, exactly. These are tastes. They're, some people love Sour Patch Kids. Some people hate Red Vines and love Twizzlers, and vice versa. I view this as the exact same kind of debate. It either hits you where you live or it doesn't. But it doesn't say anything about someone to hate John Wick or love or hate Kingsman. It just, for me, Kingsman and John Wick grab me in a place they inform a deep place in which I love movies, both of them. But I totally get why you could watch each of them and be like, I can't believe I'm wasting my time on this.
And they're both kind of pulpy movies, right?
They are.
So I grew up in the era between Bonds. Like I grew up between the end of Moore and Dalton.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So when the first Dalton movie came out, I was probably 10 or 12. It was in 1987.
That was.
And there was a huge deal. And I sat down with my dad and we were literally VCR'd. Remember in the days before TiVo, we recorded all of TBS ran all of the previous Bonds back to back over like 3 days or 4 days or whatever, and we recorded them all and watched them over a couple of weeks because it was something he wanted to share with me.
Someone pointed out right now that it's 24 weeks until the new Bond film comes out, and that you could actually now watch one Bond film a week to catch yourself up.
It's not a bad idea.
I'm sorry, but go ahead. You were saying.
No, but I mean, I watched the Sean Connery ones and loved those because, there's nobody cooler than Sean Connery as James Bond.
I totally agree.
But those start out really gritty, and then they get a little silly, and then they get gritty again, and then Roger Moore comes in, and Roger Moore is just silly and campy from the go.
Yeah.
I also had seen in like Flint when I was or one of those Flint movies on like the Saturday afternoon movies when I was a kid. They were regularly shown after cartoons, and like between those. At some point, I couldn't tell the difference. I remember
James Coburn was Flint.
I think so. Yeah,
it was.
It's basically what
the Man from U.N.C.L.E. There's a little bit of all that going on.
It's what Mike Myers credits as the inspiration for Austin Powers,
right?
Which hasn't aged well, but was really I think it's still lovely.
And to be clear, Austin Powers is what killed the Bond camp, and they were very clear about that. That's why Bond got dark when they brought Daniel Craig in, and I love the new dark Bond. I think Daniel Craig is currently my favorite. Daniel Craig and Sean Connery, I view as. I can't compete them against each other because it's totally apples and oranges, but I love them both equally.
And Bourne, too. Bourne had a big impact, too, because Bourne was a Bond movie that wasn't about Bond, basically.
Right. I agree.
But I thought this movie, like, I liked the amount of camp. It appealed to me on a level that, like, I like the Roger Moore movies. I've watched all of them. But I felt like the best part about this movie are the rules. The rules of this world are awesome.
There were the rules.
So this is where spoilers start.
Okay, so let's bring in spoilers. Here it comes.
I just got a message from my wife. The number one rule is that anyone can die, I think. Like, when they kill Colin Firth 2/3 of the way through the movie.
Holy crap.
And you're just like, wait, what? Yeah. What happened just then?
That is very intense.
That is something that in this type of movie...
tons of people die in the world.
Oh yeah. But I think more importantly, it's that once they killed Colin Firth, I was like, well, okay, they can literally kill anybody at this point. The other rules are that they're superheroes. They're supermen.
They genuinely are superheroes. Right. So we're not even talking about Batman level superhero. We're talking. And we're even past Daredevil level superhero. These guys are kind of preternaturally able to hurl beer glasses with the end of an umbrella with a precision that a robot would have trouble achieving.
But it seems like that is partly that they're picking the best of the best of the best, and partly that they're training them to. Yes, exactly. The other. So those are the two rules I got, basically.
Anyone can die is a very intense rule to find yourself.
I mean, there's a big difference
in a film.
But the type of world. I mean, it's a rated R movie, so it's at that point, you don't know what the ending is. It doesn't follow the exact same. Yeah, it's R. Yeah, it doesn't follow the same formula.
I'd like to talk about something that I bet annoyed the hell out of you, and I found it wasn't a deal breaker, but it was one of the film's weakest point was the villain. Sam Jackson plays the villain.
No, I loved him.
Really?
I like Sam Jackson, yeah.
I thought he was the weakest point of the film, and I love Samuel Jackson, but I thought, to me, one of the key rules of every action movie is the villain has to be genuinely scary.
But he was playing Larry Page, right?
Whatever he was doing,
the comic book it was based on, he was supposed to be like a Mark Zuckerberg-esque.
Right.
Yeah.
In the comic, actually, because in the comic, the villain is supposed to be a billionaire young guy who actually doesn't just in his arc that he saves people in, he saves his favorite celebrities as opposed to saving the world's smartest. It's a very like pop culture twist.
Right.
What would the billionaire 22-year-old do if you destroyed the world? He would obviously save the superstars that he loves, idols. My problem, I think, and I thought you were going for my problem. That you thought my problem would be the very last scene with the girl, the princess, the unnecessary, the sex scene.
Oh, it wasn't. It was actually just a surprisingly crude joke in a movie that's devoid of crude jokes.
I thought that scene was terrible,
and
I agree. That almost. Sorry, it was terrible to a point of if I was the head of a studio, I would want to become the head of a studio just to fire the fucker that put that scene in.
Well, and they had to test that, right?
No, it wasn't. It was the director who said explicitly, why are you getting bothered with the scene? This is our take on the James Bond. Every James Bond movie ends with some lewd sex scene. If we're just taking it to our next level. And modernizing
take a woman who's already imprisoned and have anal sex with her. This is the worst joke I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was
exactly that is one.
I agree. That is almost a film destroying.
And that made it.
Did you see it in the theater?
Austin Powers. Yeah, I saw it.
Was it a full theater?
It was a full theater.
Did it get a laugh?
That got the laugh.
Yeah,
that bummed me out.
Yeah. Well, it got the laugh because it's so unexpected. You get the wait what laugh?
And not the ha ha ha. That got the laugh, and that turned it into Austin Powers for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I can't disagree with you. I frankly, I elided that joke and thinking back upon the movie, and now that you're bringing it back up, it's freshly ruining it for me.
It's the last third of it, but I thought you were going to mention that. But my bigger problem with the movie is, they're training this next generation of super spies. They take presumably the person who actually passed the test, the girl, and send her into space to do the thing that she's least qualified for, because they already established that her fear of heights was her thing.
So the third act wasn't good. Like, that was where the movie broke down for me.
And they definitely fall. We were talking about Fury Road.
Yeah.
And Hollywood's treatment of women. Kingsman is definitely guilty of exactly that problem.
Right. Both with Lancelot and the Swedish princess.
It takes an inordinately competent woman and turns her into an idiot for the entire third act of the film.
Well, I don't think she was an idiot.
My heights. I hope this works.
Exactly.
She was cool under pressure.
The balloon exploded. Yada yada.
Sure, but she still was boringly compromised compared to our second runner-up.
It wasn't as bad as a Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah,
but think about if the theme of the movie is these super agents are all working on their own, and they're all superheroes basically, and they're bringing in and Mark Strong hammers in, you got to work together, because otherwise they'll die.
Teamwork.
Right.
Teamwork becomes like, here's an easy thread that you could have at the end. They never collaborate.
No, they never did. You're right. I totally agree with you. I can't disagree with any of that. I enjoyed sitting through this movie and watching it. I was rousing all the way through. I totally agree. Those two are very, very bad misses.
So just the missteps there, I think, soured the experience.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wow. You've turned me. No.
Norm, you're right. I hate this movie. We can turn it down. Fuck those guys.
It's a shame. It's a shame that such an intelligent. There's so many ways in which the script is highly intelligent. The film is incredibly competently made.
Yeah.
Like we said, the action sequences are among the best I've seen in a long time in terms of great fight scenes, really innovatively filmed.
Something new, like the scene in the church where Colin Firth basically kills a million cultists.
Holy cow, that's crazy.
It was violent. So I fell asleep the first night watching it because we were watching after being at BattleBots all day.
Yeah.
And I picked back up and I was trying to figure out where I was. And I was like, oh, I'll watch this again. And I was like, no, actually, I'm not going to watch this part again. It was brutal. It was very brutal without being graphic, which is really hard to do.
Brand of weird. Yeah.
That was good writing there, because it was so uncharacteristic at that point for his character that you were taken aback, not just by what was actually going on, but by why it was going on, and then explain to you that was the villain's plot. And that's what made Sam Jackson so diabolical.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. So, very enjoyable film in many ways, hugely problematic in many other ways. It's polarizing, I don't disagree with any of your problems with it.
You also mentioned Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I've never seen that, actually.
Coming out. The Guy Ritchie, who is Matthew Vaughn's director of Kingsman, is Matthew Vaughn. He was mentored by Guy Ritchie. He directed Layer Cake
and Days of Future Past.
First Class. But he's a British director. But he was under the Guy Ritchie school of directing. Guy Ritchie, who did also the Sherlock Holmes movies, and of course,
Lock,
Stock, and Barrels and Snatch.
His new movie is The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I did not know that.
Oh, that's so good.
Who is the Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
It's Henry Cavill.
Oh, that's great.
Superman.
Interesting.
Well, Superman Jesus.
And Army Hammer from
as the villain?
As the Russian.
As one of the Winklevi twins.
He's Winklevi twins.
Good.
He's the Russian. So it's the pairing.
Fabulous.
It is.
This is exciting.
So if you want to see the Roger Moore throwback,
I think that we may be getting that.
It's a Deep Impact Armageddon all over again.
I love Armageddon. We should do a spoiler. Just watch that movie. Armageddon's one of my favorite dumb movies.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Talk about the wrong stuff.
Cry every time.
I do too.
At the end, when Gary Sinise walks up and goes, "I want to shake the hand of the daughter of the bravest man I ever met."
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Man.
All right.
Okay.
Movies. Go to
Battlebots.
Yeah.
It's been a cast.
Guys, we'll see you all next week. Thanks for supporting this Still Untitled. If you like us, leave us on iTunes. Membership drive's still going. So if you want to get Adam's poster with the drawing of your ILM toolboxes, it is really gorgeous. You can see it on the site. Go to tested.com/membership for
Each
more
one will be individually signed and numbered by me.
No? I don't think so for these.
Oh,
that would be a lot.
No, sorry. I will not be individually signing.
Sorry, guys.
My apologies.
If you bring it someplace that Adam's going to be signing stuff, maybe he'll sign it for you.
Sign it.
Yes. That'll do it for us this week. Thanks for watching. See you all later.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.